Hi, everybody. Welcome to the October 27th, 2017 edition of Colorado Inside Out Postgame, a special web-exclusive production here on CPT 12. I'm Dominic Dezzutti. Thanks for watching. Let's get a quick take on drug users who get caught in Denver parks now having the right to a hearing following a district court judge's decision this week. Judge William Robbins ruled that the 90-day ban that Parks and Rec instituted is unconstitutional and violates the right to due process. Patty Calhoun from Westward, we don't usually hear unconstitutional and Parks and Rec in the same sentence. This got a little heavy and due process. What does this big decision mean for Denver?
Well, it means that people in Denver parks have rights, which is you cannot be accused of being a drug user and banned. You do have your rights, your constitutional rights. It's interesting because this was one of several decisions or moves by the city that is kind of like, we want to make the city prettier, but do we have to follow those ugly technical constitutional issues? I mean, on Monday, we're going to have the smoking ban on the mall issue. And I had said, if you want to make the mall prettier, just hire prettier people. Maybe they can do that in the parks too. And all of a sudden now we're going to be voting on whether the city council, whether or not people can declaw their cats. There are a lot of reasons you don't want to declaw cats, but do we want our city council telling us whether or not you can do things with your pets? I mean, I would say there are certain things that are already illegal with your pets. We don't need city council to weigh into.
We really waded into that one. It's some dangerous territory, Patty. David Copeland of the Independence Institute and DU Law School. You know this. You're one of our two esteemed lawyers at the table. What do we need to know about this legal decision?
It was certainly the right one. And good for the American Civil Liberties Union and its attorney, Mark Silverstein, for bringing this and winning it. The Denver policy was the officer imposes a ban from your entering the park for 90 days, just unilaterally right there. And then after, if you want to appeal, you can appeal that. That is the standard of the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, sentence first, verdict afterwards. And that's okay if you're down the rabbit hole, but it's not in the United States, where the 14th Amendment, with its guarantee that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, and liberty includes the right, at the core of liberty, is the right to move about freely. So the 14th Amendment was intended to stop things like this done by local governments. And it's important, Judge Robbins' decision is important not only for this, but to stop a slippery slope. Because in England now, as their social order has decayed and the formerly high-class English character is long gone, the government has dealt with it in part by letting police officers just impose fines on people on the spot. Again, sentence first, and then maybe if you want to appeal it, you can actually get a judicial determination about it later. And so if we hadn't nipped this in the bud here, I think it would have been expanded to many, many other contexts.
Penfield Tate, attorney at QTAC Rock, also a longtime state lawmaker. Did we pull a Barney Pfeiffer? Did we nip it in the bud?
I think we've nipped it in the bud, and I think I agree with David. We have to thank the ACLU and Mark Silverstein for their work in protecting civil liberties. And there's an important issue here, and it's a sense that I hear people talking about, and Patty touched on it, with this, I think, ridiculous park ban. And don't get me wrong, I understand wanting to feel safe in parks. But, what happens next? City Council passes an ordinance where if you're skateboarding or rollerblading where you're not supposed to be, the police can give you a ticket and ban you from a park or take your skateboard away for 90 days until you appeal it. That there is an issue or sentiment that people see developing, I think, from City Council and or the administration. And it's the smoking ban, and it's banning you from the parks, and it's the homeless sweep, and it's a host of other stuff, maybe even the proliferation of empty bike lanes, where they're trying to direct or drive certain behavior socially that people just don't agree with right now. Now, we may ultimately get to the point where we have a society where most of us commute to work on a bicycle, but we're not there yet. We may get to a point where, there's no more homelessness, but we're not there yet. And some of these things you can't just legislate away. You really need to implement policy that addresses the root cause and not the symptom you see. And I think people are becoming frustrated with this. And so I'm glad for the court decision, but you know, our elected officials at the city level need to, I think, figure out a different way of addressing some of these issues.
Ramsey Scott joins us, a reporter with the Aurora Sentinel. Do you think both the city of Denver and other cities around Colorado are paying heed to this lesson that we've seen from this ruling?
You know, time will tell. Denver Park said after this ruling that they were going to come back with a refined sort of ban, if you will. I don't know what that's going to look like or how it's going to avoid the constitutional issue of due process. You know, that's kind of an important thing judges look upon. But it really is, I don't think we're ever going to see the end of ham-handed and wrong approaches to dealing with real societal issues. Whether it be a camping ban or a sweep of the homeless camps or this type of ban, there really is sort of a push it to the side, push it away, send it to another district, and we won't have to deal with it. Denver Parks has a real issue. I believe Denver Parks number was that 3,500 needles were found within a year in their parks. That's a real issue that needs to be addressed. Banning people without due process just doesn't seem to be the way to go, and hopefully cities will start to realize that, but I doubt it. I'm sure someone else is going to institute something that is completely against what your basic constitutional rights are, and then we're going to have another conversation similar to this on the set.
That is all the time we have for Colorado Inside Out postgame. Leave us a comment, tell us what you think. For everyone here at CPT12.org, I'm Dominic Dezzutti. Thanks for watching.